explore collaborative activities in e-project-based learning. From Group 6, and we're gonna take you to explore more about collaborative work and project-based learning. Group 6 consists of Dira 108, Jesicca 079, Yemima 001, and Irine 021. Enjoy the ride! We have four main menu. Number 1, overview of collaborative learning. Number 2, overview of project-based learning. Number 3, project-based learning tools. And number 4, studies by James Taylor about collaborative work and project-based learning.
Lecturing is without doubt effective for transmitting information, but if we wish to develop thinking skills, problem-solving abilities, and lifelong learning skills, a more student-centered approach must be taken. This involves a change in the role of the lecturer from presenting information to students to facilitating and guiding learning. Palmer in 1998 talks about preparing a learning space so that students can learn with and from each other, and that there can be no doubting the potential of the group to learn from each other. And according to Rice 2001, learning from other people is the most instinctive and natural of all the learning contexts we experience, like group discussion. Group discussion allows students to attend more clearly to meaning as they interact with the language of the discipline and put into their own words the issues arising from a particular topic. It also gives students an opportunity to direct and take responsibility for their own learning. In a group learning context, students are facilitated to develop key skills such as communication and teamwork. Students can only become proficient in a skill by practicing it, and in a group learning context, the students have to learn how to work within a group and listen and negotiate with others in order to resolve dilemmas or conflicts. These are important skills for students to develop, as research indicates that employers worldwide want graduates who have well-developed communication, teamwork, and problem-solving skills. Also, many students will want to be given the solutions to problems rather than taking responsibility for finding information and discussing it together. And so there is a need for induction and tutor training as support. And this will be discussed in more detail later.
And the next is about overview of PBL, or project-based learning. So project-based learning is a pedagogical technique in which students, often working in teams, may combine a variety of subject matter disciplines or skills to solve authentic real-world problems. In contrast to final projects given to students after a period of more traditional lecture and textbook-based instruction. With PBL, the projects are started at the beginning of the course and in fact represent the core focus on the curriculum, in that the project is used as the primary vehicle to drive the students' learning experience. PBL allows students to engage with core subjects in a manner that encourages teamwork with an emphasis on communication, collaboration, and critical thinking skills. PBL effectively flipped the classroom by allowing teachers to take on more of a facilitative role in the students' learning, like providing support when students get stuck and providing oversight to ensure students stay on track. Technology is needed to conduct this method because students can use technology to research topics and then to create digital artifacts like websites, blogs, and podcasts with the results of their findings. And technology gives teachers the ability to monitor students' progress more readily and to provide individualized feedback. There are two benefits of PBL for students. The first one is students have ability to develop students' critical thinking skills, and the second one is students have a chance to reinforce how the concepts they are learning can be applied to the real world. PBL is also effective teaching technique for at-risk students, but only some schools have formally adopted this approach to learning. One major reason for the low rate of adoption is that teachers often lack the support they need to make the transition from traditional lecture-based learning to PBL. This is related with regards to access to and understanding of the appropriate supportive technology that can help both the teacher and the students succeed in this new teaching approach. Here, some tools that support PBL can be categorized into several types. 1. Assessment tools. This tool allows teachers to determine the extent to which students are grasping core concepts as well as gathering feedback from students. For example, Edmodo Snapshot and Google Form or surveys. 2. Brainstorming tools. This tool enables students to throw out a variety of ideas during brainstorming sessions. Then, look for ways in which ideas are connected. Includes concept mapping and note-taking tools. For example, Simple Mind Plus, MindMeister, and Evernote. 3. Collaboration tools. This tool foster collaboration between teachers and students, allowing for over-the-shoulder reviews of content and enabling peer feedback. For example, Google Docs, Microsoft Office Online, Edmodo, Skype, and Slack. 4. Content development tool for students. This tool enables students to create content like presentation, movies, spreadsheets, papers, college, blogs, and podcasts in support of their projects. For example, Google Docs, Blogster, Prezi, Storyfy, DPT, Audioboom, and PowerPoint. 6. Knowledge transfer tools for teachers. This tool enables teachers to create presentations and whiteboards, as well as provide curated content which students can use in support of projects. For example, Newsilla, Screencast-O-Matic, and Camtasia. 7. Online libraries of project ideas. Provide teachers with the ability to search libraries of existing project ideas, often focusing the search on a particular subject matter or age range. For example, Craft at Curriculum, globalschoolnet.org, EduCurious, Next Lessons. 8. PBL platforms or frameworks. These are platforms which teachers can use to manage all aspects of their PBL delivery, including built-in collaboration, planning, and assessment tools. For example, Project Foundry, Nofair PBL platform, Crowd School, and Project Foundry. 9. Planning tools include online planning forms specific to PBL, time management tools, and teacher or students messaging tools. For example, Bach Institute for Education's online planning forms, Flex Time Manager, and Remind. And the last, standards compliance tools help teachers locate sample projects and content that support specific common core standards. For example, Next Lesson, EduCurious, and Newsilla.
There are some key takeaways taken from survey studies done by James Taylor involving both teachers and students. The first survey was conducted with teachers who had experience in the delivery of PBL. The goal of this survey was to determine which types of technology tools these teachers found most helpful in their implementation of PBL. The second survey was conducted with students who had taken at least one class in which PBL was used as a primary teaching technique. The goal of this second survey was to find out which types of technology tools these students found most effective and engaging. Now, I will explain you about the results of the studies. Question 1. What types of technology tools do teachers find to be most helpful in support of PBL? The answer is collaboration tools were the number one choice by teachers, which is understandable given PBL's emphasis on group projects and on shifting the role of the teacher from lecturer to facilitator. The second one is assessment tools, which was telling since teachers often state that figuring out how to assess students' learning and grade the corresponding projects is one of the most challenging aspects of PBL. The third one is content development tools for students, which is not surprising given PBL's focus on students creating content as a vehicle for showing the results of their projects. Last is standards compliance tools. It's worth noting that there was a nearly 20-point gap between the level and the perceived effectiveness for this tool type. This could indicate that teachers feel that standards have a limited impact on the success of their PBL efforts, even though they may be required to show at least nominal adherence to standards. It was also interesting that PBL platforms and frameworks rank so low, particularly since these tools often position them to be one-stop shops for PBL initiatives. This could indicate the respondents lack access to these more comprehensive delivery tools, or that they prefer the flexibility that a more loosely structured collection of tools can provide. Question 2. Which types of technology tools in support of PBL do students find to be most helpful and engaging? The answer is, as with teachers, students found collaboration tools to be the most significant supportive technology. This was backed by a follow-up question which asked students for the names of specific tools they felt were helpful in completion of their projects. Mapping the responses back to the overall technology type found that 61% of students mentioned specific collaboration tools they found essential. Students also found assessment tools, planning tools, and content development tools to be particularly helpful in creation of their projects. Question 3. Is there alignment between the types of tools that teachers find effective and students find interesting? The answer is, in general, there was a very high degree of alignment in overall rankings amongst both teachers and students across the overall categories. The correlation coefficient between students' interest and teacher effectiveness was 0.7884, indicating a relatively positive correlation between the two factors. Most notably, collaboration tools were the top-ranked technology tool for both students and teachers. The major deviation between student and teacher rankings
was with regards to planning tools, which students rank higher.
Question number 4. For which PBL specific teaching practice does technology provide the greatest support? During primary research, each surveyed technology tool was mapped to one or more of the 7 core of PBL teaching practices identified by the Bach Institute for Education. Then, for each tool type category, a percentage was calculated based on the number of times each PBL teaching practice was mapped across all tools of that type. This percentage was then multiplied by a ranking factor based on teachers' ranking of the overall technology tool types. The resulting score were total across each PBL teaching practices. Here are the table of the score, and this result imply that while technology can help support all PBL teaching practices, it is most impactful in the following areas. The first one, helping teachers to design and plan for the successful execution of their project, particularly using planning guides and time management tools that allow them to make the most efficient use possible of precious classroom time. Number 2, providing teachers with the ability to remain in close contact with the students throughout the project, as well as allowing students the ability to collaborate with each other even when not in the same physical space. And the last one, giving students the creative freedom to explore the topics underlying their project in ways that are meaningful to them while simultaneously ensuring that they are equipped with the core knowledge needed to stay focused. Question number 5. Overall, how integral is technology to delivery of PBL? Nearly 74% of teachers and 63% of students thought that technology tools were either very important or extremely important relative to their successful delivery of project-based learning. Thus, it was clear that among survey respondents at least, technology is considered as an important tool, although one anecdotal comment from a teacher was particularly illuminating. The most important thing to remember is that technology is a tool, not the tool. Always have a plan B in the event that technology does not work. Teachers don't have to master of the technology. Letting students troubleshoot and help each other is a huge burden off the back of a teacher if they are willing to trust their student. Congratulations for reaching the end of this journey. Victory goes to the crewmates. There is no imposter. And before we end this presentation, we have one question for you to ponder. What application do you want to explore more for learning English, especially for the practice of PBL? Just comment down below and we can maybe have a short discussion under this presentation. Thank you very much and have a nice day, everyone.